What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. Today we're going to be talking about abilities and if it should be removed from Madden 22. Now, this question comes from you guys directly from the people. Some of you guys have been just saying, like, look, Gmia, we need you to start getting us amped up for Madden 22. EA is not giving us any news, and, you know, we really need to hear from you about it. Shout out to all of you guys that stopped playing Madden 21, but still tune into GmiasWorld and GmiasWorld Gaming to watch the gameplay. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the real MVPs, man, because a lot of the feedback that I get, some of you guys are just done with the game, and you've been done with the game due to the fact that a lot of the abilities, they just don't work. Now, we're going to talk about Madden 20. I'm going to correlate it into it as much as I can to kind of give you my assessment of it, because a lot of the guys that are old school like myself, we talk about NFL 2K5. We talk about a lot of games that were better in the way that the gameplay was than Madden has become. But we have to be honest with ourselves. With the development of which this game is, the capability is there. The technology of this game is light years ahead of 2K5. Like, it's light years ahead of it. We could debate it, we could argue, whatever like that, but the proof is in the pudding. They have the development to make the game great. It's just when we get it on the gameplay and we're actually on the gridiron, the game is not that good. One of those reasons is because of abilities. Because you have to understand, when you look at the ability aspect, in regs, everything is cool because it's a balance and it's based on the actual teams and nobody is really OP. But when you jump into Madden Ultimate Team, this is something that triggers a lot of other stuff when you start to mess with attributes on the cards. So the abilities is pretty much what breaks the game. You know what I'm saying? It's something that once you get out of regs, it doesn't really work the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you this, right? I think that EA did this in order to let the game evolve. Because you can't keep the game the same. Nobody's gonna just keep playing Madden. Well, maybe we would, because we're idiots. Yeah, we'll play. We're playing it now. So you guys are right. I know you guys are like, yeah, Gmia, we're gonna play it anyway. A lot of you guys are like, yeah, come on, dude. We playing the game no matter what. Like, dudes almost lost. Yo, like, one guy said he almost lost his family by playing Madden 20 because he was raging so hard and his wife couldn't take it. But yet still, we still play it. So you guys are right. Regardless, who would have played it. But in the eyes of the development team and the people that make the game, I think they have to continue to evolve and make the game fresh. And let's just be completely honest about it. The MUT content is pretty good. Like, the MUT team themselves, let's put gameplay aside, the way that you can, get free players, the way that the way that the systematical, gains from, going through the challenges and getting the free cards, recently the free golden ticket, the sets, some of the new, like, the escape from Castle Jakenstein. A lot of the creativity in the MUT aspect of the game is actually beautiful. Our issue is what happens when we go into the game. You see what I'm saying? So when we focus on abilities, you guys got to understand it's a two-part thing because it looks pretty. Like right here, let me know in the chat right now, bro, write it in the comments. Can you not stay here for hours and just keep customizing your players? Can you not go like over here and be like, oh my God, I don't like him in that outfit. Like, bro, like it's crazy. It's like you're playing Little Big Planet. Like, it's wild. Like, oh my God, yo, I like him in this. That's not the issue, bro. Like, all of this stuff is, this aspect of the game is actually fun for us. Building our team, adding the abilities and stuff like that. The anger that you guys feel is when the abilities are used on the field in the actual gameplay. It doesn't correlate to our experience when we're actually, playing, going through the MUT stuff, building our team, theme teams, all that stuff. So when you ask me, should they remove abilities? I gotta say no. And just hear me out before you guys rage on me. Hear me out, right? If the abilities work the way that they're supposed to, I think Madden would be an unbelievable game. It's the fact of the matter that I think that they've made too many abilities, if that makes any sense. Like, so pretty much what happens is this, right? There's a lot of abilities. Like, when you look at the deep in and the deep out and all that stuff like that, they split up, streak specialists. Primarily because of me. You guys heard about the Gmia streak. If you haven't, ask somebody. We pretty much broke the game with the way you could just moss and quadruple, quintuplet coverage. It didn't matter what it was. So EA broke down streak specialists into so many different things, from short out elite to mid out elite, all this stupidness, right? In doing that, they made the game excessively more difficult for them as far as gameplay. Because a lot of the stuff that works in the game, it doesn't really go based on the abilities that you have. For instance, right? You can run mid in elite, and you can moss somebody deep without having the deep in or deep out. And that just goes back to the randomness of the game. The point of the matter is this, right? Abilities are not the issue. It's the actual fact that we know that they don't work the way that they're supposed to. Like, for instance, we have to put deep out and deep in on our players for them to animate, and most of the time they still won't animate. So you got a 6'4" guy out there, he's running around and he never jumps for the ball. That is a major problem. That's the thing right there. Like, you know, maybe a CEO of EA will watch this video and they'll say, you know what? This guy actually makes a point, because you can look and see that a lot of the abilities that are being used, they don't work in the way that they're supposed to. And this is one of the major factors. Because Madden 20 was so OP with streak specialists, they broke it up and then they took away the ability for our players to react. Now, in my opinion, that is why a lot of you are so upset and want me to talk about it and give you my opinion. I don't think that they should be removed. I think that they should be made better. I think that they should work. I think that what they describe, it should happen on the field. And I don't think that we've been getting that. That's my opinion with it. So I don't see any way that they can just remove abilities, because what will be the next gimmick? You can't really, like, put it like this, right, guys? This is the reason why you can't remove abilities. Theoretically speaking, if I take off deep out and deep in from Randy Moss, how good is he? He's not going to be that good. So in our minds, right, we're looking at this. If this was Madden 15, Randy Moss's card would be like 4 million, 5 million coins. You could bet that. But because it's Madden 21, he's lower priced and people understand that he's not going to do certain things. And we just accept it. But now that you know, it's a lot more people speaking up and things are getting out there, it is possible that they're going to have to change it to make the players react. I would take Madden 04 with Michael Vick over Madden 21 right now. If you were going to give me that with just enhanced graphics, I would take that gameplay over this. Even with Michael Vick being absolutely OP. He was a nightmare in Madden 04, for those of you guys that didn't play it. But I'm going to tell you this right now. It was fun. And that's what I think we're missing from the game. If the abilities enhance what our experience is going to be, like, for instance, right, when in Madden 20, they had the, you know, like the NFL 100 players had those special things where they started off where they were already enraged. The game was already arcade-ish, so for me, it didn't really matter. Eric Dickerson, he was going for 6 like almost once a game to start it while he had it, whatever. They then declined it to make it only last a couple times, maybe 3 times in the beginning of the game. They started to dumb the game down. In the beginning of Madden 20, Ezekiel Elliott was one of the, you know, the Dallas Cowboys were one of the most used teams. And because of armbar, they nerfed armbar because people complained about it. Remember, a lot of the stuff that we're going through right now is stemmed from Madden 16 and people complaining about Brashad Perriman being as fast as he was when he was released to be that fast. That's what all of this stuff stems from as far as the gameplay. That's when Madden, in my opinion, got really dumbed down. And I think it's been horrible as far as gameplay since then. I think the people that are making the game, they've gotten used to the fact that you don't really have to do much. And they left it the same way. Because a lot of the sliding into each other, a lot of, like, you know, a guy's beat deep and then the animation goes in, that comes from the Madden 16 patch. And that's when everybody that understood Madden began to rage, and then a new generation of players started to win. It was Madden 16. Just go back to it. I've been playing Madden a very, very long time. Everything that I'm telling you right now can be documented from past stuff. The competitive players stopped winning as of Madden 15. Like, the comp guys that actually, when Madden was a competitive, like a really, really seriously competitive game, up until that point, it got really wild after the Madden 16 patch. And it just got really disgusting. Everybody was OBJ catching. Dudes were running 2-man under, setting nobody, sacking you. That trend started in 16. So when we look to abilities right now, I think as, you know, Madden has evolutionized and it's continued to grow and they've added stuff to the game, I think they went out of their way to make things not be as OP because of complaints, instead of making the game play the way that they intended it. Because Madden 16, truth be told, at the launch of Madden 16, that game was pretty good. I can go back and pull up videos before the Madden 16 patch that nerfed Brashad Perriman and created a slide into my DMs and all the through your body and all the stupidness that started to happen. All of that was due to that patch, and we are still living with that same patch for every Madden since 16. So that's what you have to understand. In the way that, in the current culture that we're in right now, if anything is too OP, EA is going to nerf it. Because the game has to be easy enough for anybody to pick it up and be able to play it. And I don't think many of us have a problem with that, because if you want to be a newbie and come in, you should get the brakes beat off you to start. You should just come in and just, throw the ball to triple coverage and the guy catches it randomly and goes for 6. That shouldn't be the way that it is. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. So if you removed abilities, would I still play the game? Absolutely. But it would be different because now, to me, it's more work for the developers now. Because now they got to go back to when the attributes actually meant something. They got to go back to when all these 99s, they actually show on the field. I haven't seen that in a very, very long time. So I think the abilities is a way to kind of not only make you spend money, but engage with the game more and be able to try to figure out what really works. The problem is, once the meta comes out, it's over. Once the meta is dropped, everybody is running the meta. Look, I gotta tell you this right now. Some of you guys are like, yeah, these guys that put out ebooks and everything, they ruin Madden YouTube. No, it's the game development. Because there's been ebooks have been out forever. But when it comes skill to skill, prior to 16, you were gonna beat somebody if you were better than that person. In most cases, you were gonna do it. What happens now, if you remove abilities and make the game go back to being what it was, to where you gotta spend a little bit more for the card, but you get all of what the card's supposed to be based on the attributes, it would be too difficult for most of the people to play it, and it would probably affect EA Sports. Remember, this is corporate. So when I talk to you guys about it, you guys want my opinion. I'm giving you my honest opinion. They can't remove abilities. This creates a lot of buzz. Adding a certain ability, oh, yo, what you got on your players? Flicking up on the right stick, seeing what the other person has on their team. That creates excitement. That can't just go away. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be like, all right, you know what? Yo, these dudes complaining too much about this. Let's get rid of it. No. But what I'm saying is they have to make it better. Like, I don't see why, even with the way Streak Specialist was, I don't see why they would break it up into all this stuff. Because it's all unnecessary. And now it forces them to make it work, which is why some of you guys that know about certain glitches, if you have like a crosser on the outside, like a certain place, or you have a guy in the slot, let's say Tyreek Hill, that has short out, he'll burn you right off the snap and go for 6 on a deep crosser with only short in the lead if he's in the slot, short out if he's on the outside the numbers. You see what I'm saying? So you can have different things happen when all they had to do was just leave it the way it's supposed to be. Like, yo, it's a streak. Anywhere in the field, if you're throwing the streak, leave it alone. They broke it up. So not only does that now cost you more training to do what you want to do, now you have to gauge where you're throwing the ball, how you're throwing it, what's going on, and then what does that mean, guys? That these attributes don't matter. Because if let's all use our brain together. If he has 99 short route, medium, and deep, shouldn't he run every route the right way regardless and be able to catch it? If we're just like layman terms, like simplistically, shouldn't he be able to catch he should run those routes perfectly. Unfortunately, without lighting up with the deep out and deep in, he'll just get bagged by a defender, or random defender too. Probably like Brandon used car or something like that. He'll just get bagged. That's what my point is. So they're not going to remove abilities from Madden 22. You could just go throw that out the window. That's not going to happen. Put it like this, right? I'm going to give you one thing before I go, just so you guys can understand this, right? You remember when Double or Nothing was popping during the year? And everyone was like, yo, bro, Double or Nothing this, Double or Nothing that. It was really, really wild, right? And then now it's a bunch of idiots running around with El Toro, right? So look, let's talk about that real quick. If you look at all of these abilities that he unlocks and you see the AP that it uses and stuff like that, and I think the AP system is cool and stuff like that, having certain key players on your team, have certain abilities, all that stuff, yeah, great, right? But when you think about it now, right? If you look at the definition of El Toro, you have to have max pass rush points. And I played a guy that had 2 El Toros. He was screaming at me every single play. So that would mean that he has max pass rush points for every single down. That's wrong. It's just El Toro is probably the new Double or Nothing. And then they double the price of this because most of the time you get nothing, but earlier in the year, dudes were just going crazy with Double or Nothing. But EA is very smart with the way they worded it. It's twice the cost, Double or Nothing. Sometimes you're gonna get nothing, sometimes you're gonna get double. But that's what this has become. So technically, right, you're gonna shed regardless. Even without max pass rush points, you're gonna shed with El Toro, but Double or Nothing is not for AP because they didn't want you to have it on every one of your linemen because it just looks bad. And in certain cases, they would just fight through and go crazy. But even without all of that, look at these numbers. 99 power move, 99 finesse move. So if we're just going back and using our brains and saying, if we play somebody without any O-line abilities, shouldn't Charles Haley go crazy anyway? It's very, very difficult to kind of like understand what they're doing because these numbers really don't matter. If I play Charles Haley without edge threat, he's gonna sit there like a newborn infant and get bodied the entire game. Now, if I send 1 or 2, he would shed, but that's just the mechanics of the game. It's just broken. And this is what I'm saying. Certain things, even like with edge threat elite, it's not as good. It's not as good as it was in 20. They nerfed it, they dumbed it down because they don't want you to get pressure. Then there's nano detection. There's so many things wrong with the gameplay aspect that if they were to take away abilities, I don't know what they would do to engage the spending. You guys give me some ideas because I'm looking at it from a corporate level. You have to let the consumer spend, not only for the game, but in-game. The in-game purchases are the major thing for a lot of companies. What else would you do without these abilities? I don't think EA Sports would be able to get the same exact gains unless they made the cards do exactly what they were supposed to do and the prices of all the cards went up and the market was completely different. Because if the cards played like they were supposed to, we wouldn't have 180K or 160K golden tickets right now. So that's pretty much what it is. I don't think they should remove abilities from Madden 22, but I honestly believe that they should make them do what they say they're supposed to do and make it work and make the gameplay better. That's all we ever really wanted, was to make Madden great again. I want to thank you guys and girls for watching. Leave your questions. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. One love, y'all.